Max literally has to dig deeper beneath the surface to
I love when analysis channels do that analysis stuff. Oh my gosh. Max literally had to dig deeper for the bot. Video from the one, the only, the homie, Film Junkie. I overanalyzed Real Steel and struck effing gold. If you don't know, Real Steel to me is one of the best movies in terms of portraying boxing in a different light. I really love how they do every single thing in Real Steel. I like the story, I like the fighting, I like the action, I like the woes, I like the peaks, I like the ebbs and flows. So this gives me a chance to geek out about Real Steel. If you haven't watched it, you're gonna want to watch it by the end of this reaction. Let's get into it. Chat, y'all know Real Steel cinema? Oh my gosh, I love you guys so much. I love you guys so much.
Aside from the fact that the robots in Real Steel are real, as in they really built moving, pilotable versions of some of these robots over 14 years ago, I wanted to make this video because Real Steel isn't actually about those robots. Yeah, I know. Film Junkie, you've lost your damn mind. And yeah, I get it. I thought I was going insane.
Oh my gosh, this movie looks so freaking good for its time. And right now, like, I'm looking at the robots for the first time in so long and they look great right now.
As well, I had no idea where these thoughts were coming from until I rewatched the movie one more time and came back across this scene, and it all started to make sense. So, let me explain. When analyzing Real Steel, I've come across 3 different layers or levels of analysis that result in different but complementary interpretations of the same film. The first surface layer interpretation.
This scene right here, bro, come on, you can't hate on this. When they're outside, I think it was Eminem playing right here, or whatever the joke, bro. There has never been a time in my life where Eminem sounded better. That was the peak Eminem that I was ever at. They were like, and then he was like, okay, and come on, man. That's your side, bro. That's your side, bro. That's your side, bro.
As of course that the film is a classic underdog tale, coupled with a story of a father righting his wrongs.
Yeah.
Sold me?
That the movie is a feel-good piece of entertainment which doesn't try too hard to be anything more than just that. And while there's absolutely nothing wrong with viewing Real Steel as just that, it does leave out a good bit of detail which was hiding right under the surface. So let's dig a bit deeper and move on to the second layer. It's at this point where you'll find that on top of everything from the first one, the film also kind of tries to tackle the relationship between man and machine. This interpretation lets us get a glimpse into the darker side of the world of Real Steel, where the things that we love are slowly being taken over by machines.
What changed?
A good question. Boxing. Human boxing. It just faded.
Why?
Because the money moved on.
And as that happens, the things people value about those art forms also shifts.
I mean, people wanted more carnage, more show.
This interpretation makes you question if it's worth losing that human aspect of something in exchange for a bigger, flashier version of itself.
He didn't even survive the first round.
Is that what you think boxing is? Who's beating up some piece of steel that they feed him?
Maxwell's not just some piece of steel, and now that is what boxing is now. Deal with it.
It makes you question what makes those things that we value important in the first place. Is it because of the result or because of what it took to get there? And finally, we have the third layer, which as of making this video, I haven't really seen anyone talk about yet. And this third interpretation is that on top of everything else, a good deal is actually Charlie reliving his past, but with a different perspective. But before we get into that, there's something I'd quickly like to mention. Making these videos takes a lot of time, and what usually happens when I search for materials or information, going back to the third interpretation I was talking about. This whole idea of Charlie reliving his life sounds a little bit confusing, so let me explain. I've always held the belief that two people can live the exact same lives, but come out with two completely different stories.
Facts. That happens a lot with siblings. A lot of the time, people will look at their siblings and be like, what's wrong? We grew up in the same household together. They didn't grow up like me. But you could grow up in the same household, but not in the same place, not the same way. Like, my older siblings experience way more of a different household dynamic than I ever did. Especially when especially when you start to quantify like times in their lives, places in their lives, examples, etc., etc. Like, things that I went through in middle school is things that they didn't have to go through, and vice versa. They went through things in middle school that I never had to go through. So no matter how you guys grow up, even if it's in the same home, even if it's the same place, same house, same parents, whatever, you still will grow up two completely different ways. So this is facts.
That difference is how each of those two people decide to view and experience those same events. Real Steel puts a heavy emphasis on that belief by having Charlie basically relive important moments of his life right in front of us, and even uses Max as a way to compare the results. First, what the heck do I mean Charlie is reliving his life? Okay, for example, take a look at the final fight of the movie, where Atom fights Zeus. This fight is basically a recreation of the fight Charlie had against the champ Nico Tandy back in the day when he was still a boxer.
Check this out.
And as Bailey tells us the story of Charlie's past, you'll start to notice a lot of these details sound pretty darn familiar.
Charlie was just supposed to be a warm-up fight, an easy win. Nico wasn't even supposed to break a sweat.
I'd like to buy your robot. It'd be a useful sparring bot for Zeus.
First, Nico couldn't believe the balls on this nobody.
I challenge Zeus to a fight.
Whoa.
Charlie kept coming, and that's when Nico looked scared.
Whoa.
Rich girl is ripping a new one over there.
Whoa.
Do you know why? 'Cause
I've never put that together for the movie. Whoa! 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 Whoa!
scared.
And you'll notice that from this point forward, a lot of what happens with Atom is basically exactly what happened with Charlie. Atom shocking the world and everyone watching as they see him do what they thought was impossible. He made the world champ get tired.
This thing once and I gotta tell you folks, the champ looks tired. This robot seems to be running on empty.
He was toying with Nico. The top contender, number 2 in the world, and Charlie was dancing with him.
I don't believe it. Adam is taunting Zeus.
And finally, Atom loses the fight. The judges...
I know y'all think I'm reacting right now. I'm being so serious. I never, put that together that that's what was happening. Whoa, I might have to rewatch it.
Scores come in, and Zeus is still the undefeated champion of robot boxing.
What happened?
Facts,
Charlie beat
Simon.
Nico Tandy?
No, Nico Tandy rung my bell and went on to be the undefeated world champ for the next 3 years.
And still world robot boxing champion, Zeus!
And on this part of the newspaper, you can see it even talks about the strategy Charlie used of tiring the champ out before attacking, which is the exact same strategy he used on Zeus.
Please do something!
Not yet!
And since Bailey was at this fight back in the day,
You were at the Nico Tandy fight?
that's probably why she was saying "not yet"
That's right, Charlie, not yet.
as she watched Charlie wait.
That's a crazy detail. Because who's even reading that paper in the movie theater or whatever when the movie comes out? Like, you have to be an OD fan. This is cool.
The Zeus fight, because out of everyone watching, she's the only one who knows what Charlie is up to.
Yeah.
Not yet!
Hang in there.
Okay, so now the question is why? Why write this story in a way where Charlie is being put through the same exact set of
What's good,
events?
Bluetooth
Well,
Tough?
because this time he comes out with a different story.
Same
This time
SMS.
he takes that defeat as a victory and starts recognizing all the great things that came from their journey with Atom despite ultimately losing. From fixing his relationship with Max to putting Atom's name out there for the world to see. This really is the start of something big. In comparison to his past, Charlie could have easily experienced these same benefits. His coach was basically family to him after all those years of training.
He loved you like family.
And his fight against Nico Tandy put his name out there to the world as the underdog who gave the champ a run for his money. The only real difference is
Such
once
a good
again
movie.
how he sees it.
So he knocked you out?
Oh yeah, so did a lot of guys.
Yeah, and you knocked a lot of guys out too.
24 and 19.
24 and
It's not exactly a
19, but
career.
every fight a knockout.
And it's only because he chose to see that fight as a loss that it actually ended up degrading his life and character instead of improving it. And that's what leads him to the state he was in the beginning of Real Steel. But this type of comparison doesn't stop here. Now let's talk about Max's role in all of this. Throughout Real Steel, Max is constantly used as a way to compare what Charlie's life could be like if he simply looked at things a different way. This contrast between how Charlie and Max sees things is constantly at play up until the end of the film, when Charlie finally changes his perspective for the better. And so we'll see that during his character development process, the film finds a way for us to experience the same set of events from two different perspectives. So let me show you what I mean. If we take a look at these two fights, as well as the scenes that led up to them simultaneously, you can easily notice this at play. The first one being the Midas fight with Noisy Boy, and the second one being the fight at the zoo with Atom. First, let's see how characters get their robots. Charlie at this point in the film is still constantly taking things at face value. A win is a win, a loss is a loss, and there's nothing else to it. That's the type of mindset he has.
Right.
So he hears there's a deal with Noisy Boy.
Noisy Boy's for sale. Wow, in his day, Noisy Boy was a killer.
A legendary boxing robot, and so it must be good, right? Boom, instant buy. No research, nothing, just spend the money.
I'm buying Noisy Boy. Oh, I got the money.
In fact, he spent such little effort learning about Noisy Boy that once it arrived, he didn't even think of the possibility that it could have been set to use Japanese instead of English.
Oh, right.
Right, left, uppercut. I knew that price was too good to be true. We got screwed.
Let me see. Miggy, he done.
Nothing crazy yet, but we'll get there in a minute. Now let's look at how Max got Atom. Again, he happens across the robot, although this time not from a call. But unlike Charlie and his surface level interpretation,
Yeah, no, he dead almost died for the robot. I feel like a lot of people always forget that. Like, he dead almost died for the robot.
of everything, Max literally has to dig deeper beneath the surface to
I love when analysis channels do that analysis stuff. Oh my gosh. Max literally had to dig deeper for the bot. I love when analysis channels do that analyzing stuff, bro.
get to Atom, and instead of buying it instantly, he has to spend the entire night digging Atom out. Alright, we're starting to see some pretty strong contrast, but let's keep going because it only gets better. After getting Noisy Boy, Charlie immediately wants to take him to a fight and earn some cash, so they head to Crash Palace in an attempt to make some money.
And he can take any bot in this place, you know.
Max, knowing Charlie is extremely unfamiliar with a robot, suggests that he take some small fights, win some easy cash, and just get the heck out.
We should take an undercard fight, make a little cash, and get the hell out of here.
Charlie, of course, disregards that advice
The kid being the smart one is so crazy, man.
and immediately chooses the main event.
He's gonna crush Midas, and I'm gonna make some real cash. We'll take Midas.
Despite never even testing out, learning, or training with Noisy Boy, Charlie automatically assumes that Noisy Boy will give him an easy win because of its reputation as a legendary boxing robot.
Fifth, this is Noisy Boy, an original top Mishido bot. He was a World Robot League boxer. Come on.
And so what's the result?
1-2 Overlord. Free call.
So now let's compare that to Max. He also immediately asks for a fight.
But I'm not gonna lie, Super Duper didn't even care for Noisy Boy at all. Like, I actually very much like Adam's build way more than I like Noisy Boy. Noisy Boy was literally incensed too noisy for me. Like, it was too much lights, it was too much going on. It's kind of like gaming PCs. I don't like my gaming PCs with mad lights all over it. Like, if you guys saw my PC is super calm. So I was actually so okay when Noisy Boy didn't end up panning out for during the movie.
After Atom is functional.
Can we get him a fight?
This time, however, Max tests out Atom's features and gets familiar with using him before the fight at the zoo. Like Charlie, he's faced with the same question. Take the easy fights and pocket some quick cash, or go for the big bucks.
He can fight my robot Metro.
Charlie, not knowing anything about Atom and only seeing him as a bot dug up in the scrapyard, suggests that Max take the easy fights.
I'll give you $100 for 1 2-minute round.
Take it.
300.
But of course, Max still decides to go for the big event, because this time around, unlike Charlie, Max actually took the time to understand Atom, and he knows what Atom can do. And just like that, we saw both of our characters go through the same structure of events, but both with a different perspective. Charlie and his face value thinking consistently leading to his own downfall.
Of course he lost, never gave him a chance.
He wasn't that good. Finn, he can take any bot in this place. You know it. He wasn't that good.
While Max, who has a much better perspective on things, is willing to spend the time to dig deeper because he understands that the value of something is not determined by what you see on the surface.
You had
That's
no
so
idea how
crazy.
to fight that fight. Those combination codes, you didn't even know what half of them even meant. You just threw them in there cocky and half-assed.
Real Steel loves to do these parallels or comparisons between characters, whether it's Charlie and Atom, Max and Charlie, or even Charlie and his past self. Charlie's perspective only really changes at the end of the movie, during the Zeus fight. This is when the film shifts from doing this parallel between Max and Charlie.
He can't hear you. You know you're talking to a machine, right?
Watch me.
You're talking to a robot.
I know.
To doing a parallel between Charlie, his past self, and Atom. And in the case of Charlie's parallel with Atom, the shadow feature makes it so they're literally doing the fight in parallel. I made this video because, well, for one, I really liked this movie as a kid, but also because despite its many flaws, it does teach a pretty important lesson. Depending on the way you watch this film, you can either come out with an enjoyable experience or see it as a total failure.
Right.
Just like what every parallel set of events in Real Steel showed us, the same set of circumstances can lead to very different results, just depending on how you see them. And the same message also happened to predict how the film was going to be received, losing the judge's vote, but becoming the people's champion. And for me, that's what this film and what this video are ultimately about. Real Steel is a direct representation of how two people can live the exact same lives but come out with two completely different stories. Whether or not that story is one of defeat or triumph is not up for anyone else to determine but you. And having the realization that I'm the one who gets to choose, that I'm the one who ultimately gets to decide how valuable the things in my life really are, well, that sounds pretty good to me.
You know, and this is a really like blessed thing to ever encounter as a thought. Like genuinely, if you guys understand the concept of like, if you could genuinely take everything at face value as like, yo, everything's my fault. At first, obviously it sounds like, yo, damn, like obviously not everything's my fault. I don't want to shoulder blames for things that aren't my fault. I'm not even talking about inconvenient times, like literally in inconvenient times. If you could take it as like, yo, this is my fault, all it gives you is the power to make sure that situations, experiences like that don't have again. And I feel like that's kind of what he's touching on right here. Like if he was able to just recontextualize his perspective on something, his life would have been completely different, completely happier. You get what I'm saying? And I feel like that's just an important thing to keep in mind in general. That's such a real thing in life, to be like, you know what, this is my fault, I had control over this is how I'll make sure that these things don't happen ever again. That's some good stuff. I didn't talk this much during the video because I was reminiscing. This was great. If you guys like the video, make sure you comment twice, like. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.